It does definitely take place after Endgame.
Esse é o primeiro Natal que a gente passa junto. Em anos.
Eu amo vocês.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Miss Tram. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I watched the first 2 episodes of the Hawkeye show and I loved it. I loved Haley. She's amazing. I love the action sequence. I love the drama mixed with the funny parts. They mix so well. But the thing I love the most is because the TV show takes place during Christmas, and I love Christmas in New York. Why did you decide to tell the story during Christmas, and why do you think this holiday looks so good on screen?
Well, it made the most sense for the Hawkeye series to set it during the Christmas time, only because we really wanted to focus on the family theme of the story, right? Especially with Clint, who have just, he's gotten his family back after 5 years not being able to, spend time with them because of the blip, and dealing with losing his best friend, Nat, from Endgame. So he has survivor's guilt. He's dealing with all of those issues. And I think family is so important that we also explore that with, Kate and her mom as well, too. So it's a smaller, more personal stake story. And we're really pushing at the family theme, and it made sense that, family, during the holiday season is all about spending time with family. So what better way than to set this particular story in the setting, and give it something different that we haven't done in the MCU.
It looks adorable screen. I just loved it. And the songs too. And what were the biggest challenges of adapting the story and creating this TV show?
I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure we had the pressure, obviously, from the Fraction comic runs, because it was great. Everybody loved how the story unfolds with Clint and Kate, especially the dynamic between the two of them. So I think the biggest focus for us is making sure that we bring that to this particular story and have Clint and Kate have that same dynamic, the bickering and bantering between the two of them. Like, anything can happen with car chases and things happening in the background, but the most important thing for us is the two of them and how they work, with each other, against each other, the back and forth. Like, that has to be fun for it to be engaging enough for people to continue to want to watch the rest of the episodes. I guess the other challenge I would say is we have 6 hours worth of content, which is great. It's a lot more time to explore with our characters, but we had the same sort of time period that we normally would do on the feature side. So it's faster paced. It's a little bit more intense on the TV side, which is all new to us, but we take it in stride and we love the challenge.
And how connects to the Avengers this story is?
Well, as you can see in the first episode, there is an incident that happens that sort of connects and ties into the MCU, that sort of launches Kate into Clint Barton's life. And as we were talking about it in the writer's room, we really wanted to figure out what would be a big pivotal moment in the MCU that would make the most sense for the two characters to connect. And this was something that we thought was one of the most memorable moments, right? And we wanted to see it through Kate's eyes, and sort of launch her, I guess, the way she idolizes a Clint in a way, and wanting to train harder and be a skilled archer.
É pra gente se preocupar?
Não é nada. Eu volto pro Natal, tá? Eu prometo.
Haley is amazing. I love her from Bumblebee, but in this TV show, she's even more amazing. How was the process of casting her? And do you think she has big future in the MCU?
Haley's incredible. She's so talented. And when we were talking about who would be a great fit for this particular role, we brainstormed ideas, names, were thrown into the mix. But when Haley walked into that conference room in that meeting that Kevin and I had with her, we just knew that it was her. she just embodied the way Kate is like, the way we envision Kate from the comics. You know, she brought it to life in just the conversations that we had with her, that Kevin, I remember just shaking her hand and going, do you want to be a part of the MCU? And that was how strongly of a presence she had for us.
The story takes place after Endgame, but it takes place before WandaVision in Spider-Man 3.
You know, I can't say for that part, but it does definitely take place after Endgame, because we do explore, you know, how Clint is dealing with all of the issues that was left after Endgame. Yeah.
No spoiler here.
No spoiler, exactly.
And what do you think that make the Hawkeye some people's favorite Avenger? What's there so special about him? Because he's one of the only that doesn't have superpower, but he always saves the day.
But I think that's actually one of the biggest reasons that makes him the most relatable to everybody, is that he is a superhero without superpowers. I think that is, you know, the everyday man that, you know, if you work, the message is like, if you work hard enough, you can do anything. You know, and he is able to stand next to the Avengers who can fly and who has the ability, super healing ability and everything, and yet be able to perform and do what he needs to do in order to, you know, save the world. And I think that's really inspiring for a lot of people who watch this, is that, you know, you can work just as hard. You don't have to have superpowers in order to be a hero here.
Is this a limited TV show, or you think there's a possibility of a second season?
I guess you guys will tell us after you've seen the rest of the episodes how it's going to be like. I think, you know, right now we have the story that we're telling, and we'll see from then on if there's more.
And how is working with Jeremy Renner? Do you think Clint still has some stories left to tell in the MCU, or do you think it's his goodbye?
There's always story to be told, you know, especially with Clint Barton. There's a lot more to explore. So, you know, we'll see how it sort of unfolds. But, you know, Jeremy's amazing to work with, and he is so passionate about the character. And has a lot of insight, you know, out of everybody. He is the person who really knows who Clint Barton is. So I think there's definitely ideas, and we'll see.
And what do you think that Marvel is so successful of creating movies and TV shows? What's the secret, do you think?
I think there's a process that we have at Marvel that makes it unique for how we work, and you know, it's very collaborative, right? And any filmmakers that we bring in to work with, it's a team effort. And I think at Marvel, there's a sort of an approach that we work with everybody in order to ensure that this is the best that we can do for this particular project and character. So it's you know, same thing. It's getting Jeremy into the room and talking and brainstorming those ideas that he has, insights on the character. Same thing with Haley, you know, exploring this new character that she hasn't, you know, we haven't seen on screen before, but what can she do with a character that can be unique to how she can portray Kate Bishop to be. So really, I think it's the collaborative nature that makes it special at Marvel, and our team at Marvel is like a family. So we're constantly, you know, talking with each other about the different projects, because once again, it's an interconnected world. It's one world that we're doing where, you know, all of the characters are going into different direction, but they're all connected one way or another. So we have to be in constant communication. And I think that's one of the biggest factor that I think makes it work for our team.
Isso é que é Natal.